Please welcome to the stage Christine, Mary, and Alexa.
Well, we have lots to talk about today. We want to tell you about lots of fantastic titles, so I think we're just going to launch right into it and let's start with our favorite titles of 2019. Well, funny enough, Mary and I actually picked two of our same favorite titles for 2019 that we wanted to talk about, so we had to divide and conquer.
Yes, we did. We had to fight a little bit.
So I'm doing one of them, she's going to do the other. But the title that I would love to tell you about is The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. And Colson Whitehead is also the author of the 2017 Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The Underground Railroad. With The Nickel Boys, Whitehead brings a dark part of our history to light, focusing around the character Elwood Curtis. He's a bright African-American teenager in the Jim Crow South. Elwood believes in doing the right thing and the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, and he's getting ready to take early entrance college classes, which is a big deal for him and his grandma. But in one of those wrong place at the wrong time situations, everything is turned upside down. He's accused of a crime he didn't commit, he's convicted, and he's sent to the Nickel Academy, which is a reform school for boys. While Elwood figures that if he plays by the rules and continues to act right, he can make it through the other side and pick up the pieces of his life. But his new friend Turner knows that the best thing you can do is stay out of the way of the violent and corrupt staff. After Elwood endures a savage beating, he and Turner hatch a plan that will have repercussions far into the future. This is based on the true story of the Arthur G. Dozier School for Boys in Florida, and though any of the students could have told you this, this wasn't exposed publicly until an unmarked graveyard was discovered during construction on the property long after the school closed. So with both the Dozier School and the Nickel Academy in the story, no one believed them until someone else said it.
Ooh. Absolutely fantastic.
So I am a huge fan of Australian mystery author Jane Harper, and The Lost Man is about an Australian cattleman whose body is found on a remote corner of his ranch. It's up to his estranged brother to try to figure out what happened to his brother, and why is his body found 9 kilometers away from his perfectly functioning car and its trunk full of water. This book is really slow to build, but Jane Harper does a really masterful job painting the landscape. It's oppressive, it's bleak and barren. It really feels like a character. It's so powerfully evoked. And you can really imagine the loneliness and isolation that comes from living so far away from civilization. When I was reading it, I was reading the news about the Australian wildfires, and I really could imagine how tough it is living out there on the outback. The author throws in a lot of twists and turns to keep readers guessing, so that's always good in a mystery. And you'll also want to read her first book, The Dry.
Okay, so my favorite book, Alexa and I, like she said, we had to fight over this, but this is my favorite book of 2019. It's called Daisy Jones and the Six. So tell me who remembers the 1970s supergroup Daisy Jones and the Six? Anybody? You want to confess to that? Well, if you're searching your memory to try to remember it, it's okay because it's completely fictionalized, but you will not feel that way when you read this amazing book by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I mean, this is so real that I was searching Wikipedia to see, like, did I miss this in music history? Is this a real group? So Daisy Jones is an ingenue. She's very talented. She has a lot of talent, but not much else going for her. The Six are a group headed by Billy Dunn. They have fought their way sort of to the middle of the charts, and nobody's going really anywhere until a really savvy record producer decides to put these two groups together and see what happens. And the chemistry between Daisy and Billy is immediate, and it is explosive. The result is the top-selling super album of 1979. All of a sudden, Daisy Jones and the Six are the group. So this book is Reid's fictional telling of this group, how they came together and how they blew apart in really spectacular fashion. It's told in like a documentary sort of Rolling Stones-esque interview fashion, which is a really interesting conceit. And I hear from a colleague of mine who is very savvy in audiobook that this is one of the best audiobooks she's ever listened to. It's a full cast recording, is that right, Alexa?
Yes, I have to lend weight to that assertion because it is just fantastic. It's a full cast with just fabulous actors that really makes you feel like you're there with them. Absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely, like the best Read it. I literally read it in one afternoon when my family was gone, ignored everything else. So that's Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid.
It also has some fantastic song lyrics that you just wish this music was real because you really want to go
listen to these songs. I'm telling you, it's fantastic.
Well, let's look forward to 2020 and books that are coming out this year that may not be out yet. I know at least one of them is. So for me, I am a big true crime fan, so this book really speaks to me in a lot of ways. It's called Yellowbird, Oil, Murder, and a Woman's Search for Justice in Indian Country, and it's by journalist Sierra Crane Murdoch. It's her first book. And it's nonfiction. It tells the true story of Lissa Yellowbird. She's an Arikara woman who returns to her North Dakota reservation community in 2009 after spending time in jail. And she finds a completely changed landscape in her community. Addiction and violence are surging. They're in the middle of an economic downturn. But a sudden oil boom has also brought just unprecedented and unexpected wealth to them. And though she has plenty of conflict with the law in her own life, she's an interesting person because she actually has a degree in criminal justice from the University of North Dakota. She becomes deeply interested in the disappearance of Christopher Clark, who's a young white oil worker who disappears from reservation land. And nobody really seems to care about his disappearance. The police aren't really investigating it. So Yellowbird takes it upon herself to start her own investigation. And what she learns ultimately helps her uncover the truth about what happened to Christopher. So this promises to be a riveting true crime drama, for those of you who like that, as well as a portrait of a complicated woman searching for justice while still processing her own trauma that has fed on for generations. If you liked Killers of the Flower Moon, the Osage Murders and the Birth of the FBI by David Gran, or Michelle McNamara's I'll Be Gone in the Dark, you might also like this one. So I'm really looking forward to the Yellowbird, which will be available in late February.
Ooh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
It does. So for me, this one caught my eye. It's Isabel Allende's A Long Petal of the Sea. First of all, it's Isabel Allende, and I always love her work. But also because I'm planning a trip to Spain in April, and this is set in 1930s Spain at the end of the Spanish Civil War. It features a young pregnant woman widow actually, her husband has died, and because of the circumstances in the war, she hurriedly agrees to marry the brother of her dead husband, and they flee from Spain to Chile with about 2,000 refugees on a boat chartered, get this, Pablo Neruda. So they go and start a new life together in Chile. It's kind of an unlikely partnership between the two, and all along they are dreaming of returning to their homeland in Spain. So I'm really interested to read about the history of the time period. I love her, Isabel Allende's really lyrical, beautiful writing. I love a sweeping saga. I think this is going to turn out to be fabulous.
So I have a couple that I'm really looking forward to in 2020. The first one is The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel. I don't have a copy of that, but it's out late in March. You might know that name. Emily St. John Mandel wrote Station 11. Anybody know Station 11 from a few years ago? I see some nodding, yes. So Station 11, excellent dystopia. What if a flu wiped out most of mankind? That's all I'm going to say. Just read it. It's beautiful and fantastic and a little relevant, perhaps. But her new book, The Glass Hotel, is not dystopia. It's set present day, and it takes us around in some different areas. We go to a remote island, remote part of Vancouver Island, to a very beautiful luxury hotel. We go to the world of the ultra wealthy, ultra rich, and then we have a Ponzi scheme that causes all of these worlds to sort of collide. Spoiler alert, I kind of read this already, and it's kind of fantastic, so just get on that. It's out at the end of March. And the other one I'm excited to read, which I haven't read yet, is High Five by Joe Ide. And if you have not read his IQ series of novels, they're set in LA, gritty, dark, modern Sherlock vibe. Not going to say more, but you can't miss these. They're fantastic.
Well, we could go on for hours, but that's all the time we have today. So I will just remind you that any of your local librarians would love to chat books with you, so come see us at the library.
Thank you.